Welcome to the Trading Sliders Podcast. Here we go, episode number 69 of the Trading Sliders Podcast. How's everybody doing out there? I'm Bobby Puckett, not in studio with me, but on the Bandit Race Cars hotline. I guess if you need to get a hold of us, anyway, we go through Bandit Race Cars. But Kurt the Flash Bennett, what's going on, Flash?
Not much, man. Just hanging out here in the balmy 23 degrees here in Louisville.
Well, it's
I'm in Indiana, but I'm so used to being at your house, I called it Louisville.
Well, it's not much warmer here. Actually, when we left the racetrack last night, it was 19. It was 70 Thursday and 19 yesterday. So
yeah, I noticed a lot more people were bundled up last night during the feature last night.
Yeah, it was I'll put it to you this way, Flash. I had a hoodie on.
Oh yeah.
So if you want to know, yeah, if you want to know what the temperature was like, I had a hoodie on. So
yeah.
This week's guest is Dean Mills. Dean Mills, for 43 years, he's been bringing us dirt racing through his lens, through his eyes. He shot the Chili Bowl. He shot, actually, he's video photographer, the Chili Bowl, for 25 years. But he did all the shootout, all the Chili Bowl. This is something we were supposed to do a couple weeks ago when we come down for the shootout. But when the man works 19 hours a day, I told him, you know what, we'll save this for another time. And so we sat down and bullshitted about racing in general, because he sees so much of it. It's a really good interview. And he kind of made some news this week in a negative way, and he wanted to rectify that, so to speak. So we sat down and we talked about that. But Dean Mills, man, he's one of the old school guys. There's not many of them left. That's done this. When he first started shooting videos, I mean, they came out on VHS, Flash, and then so we talked about the transition. We tried to do a good job of pulling the curtain back here, and this one is one of those ones that I'm proud of. We kind of pull the curtain back and let everybody know how this streaming thing all works.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a good interview. It was a fun time. This week's show being brought to you by Diesel Boys LLC. If you need anything in the year, first off, let me rephrase this, because we're getting listens from everywhere. As I'm going to tell you right now, Flash, I haven't even told you yet. Last year we did 10 countries. Well, in the first month and a half of this year, we're up to 17 countries.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So we're like United Nations or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, but
try to bring everybody together.
Yeah,
where you're from.
Yeah, we're not talking just dirt and pavement. We're trying to solve world problems.
Yeah.
They're screwed if they're relying on us. But
yeah, I know, 'cause we're not very good at that. We're good to solve our own problems.
Yeah, I can't even get my own problems taken care of. But if you're in the Kentucky area and you need any diesel work done, reach out to Brendan Hooker and Diesel Boys LLC. Our deep dive is being brought to you by Kentucky Clutch and Performance. Now, this is a sponsor here that if you got a clutch problem and it's worldwide and you don't care to pay the shipping, they can get you this anywhere across the country. We ship to Canada and Australia pretty regularly. So if you got any clutch-related issues, if you need a clutch for passenger car, work truck, semi-truck, it doesn't matter. Tractors, we specialize in tractors. Reach out to Kentucky Clutch and Performance. Our crash of the week being brought to you by D.O. Handyman and Remodeling. There's about 900 of them again this week we can choose from, but there's two that I'm going to talk about particularly. How you say that word? Particularly? Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's two of them I want to talk about. One because it was an absolute vicious crash, and the other, it's it wasn't a really hard crash, but it kind of spoiled the weekend for a lot of people. But if you need any work done around your house, reach out to David at D.O. Handyman Remodeling, 812-989-5002. Our racetrack spotlight being brought to you by JT's Trackside Catering. I know it's Super Bowl party times coming up. Speed Week parties. Daytona starts here soon. So if you're going to have a watch party, reach out to Jeremy Thomas and JT's Trackside Catering. Our slider of the week being brought to you by Walt at Speed Decals. I know Walt is super busy right now trying to get everything done for the World of Wheels show coming up next week. But he can still squeeze you in. Just reach out to Walt if you need any type of vinyl work done for any vehicle. he can even let her big trucks. I'm sure you don't want to right now with it being in the 20s, but he can get you taken care of. And finally, our Bandit Race Cars question of the week. If you need any shocks done, any type of race car work, body, anything done, for dirt modified especially, but he can, take care of everything else. He can build shocks for late models, street stocks. Reach out to Brian Barber and Bandit Race Cars. All right, got it all. And guess what, Flash? I forgot my damn cheat sheet again.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so
you did pretty good though.
yeah, so this is
we couldn't just make a generic one of those where we could just put it up every time, but I just don't think it'd be as good.
Nah, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah. I don't think that would be just as good.
That's not justifiable to the guys that help us out because something may change each week. So
yeah, exactly. And they might be running a special or something they want us to tell somebody about. Who knows?
And Walt could tell me, hey, I don't do yard signs no more. And hell, I've already recorded you do yard signs, so we're gonna have to then I have to go back and do it all over again. So, we keep this thing as authentic as possible. News of the week. Obviously, Chili Bowl. I've been here all week. Seems like forever now. But as my wife said,
you spent half the month there.
Yeah, so. That's kind of what I was thinking. I'm almost a resident of Tulsa now.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you're gonna start paying taxes there.
Yeah. Now I think Tulsa got enough of our money in the last month. But we're going to talk about the Chili Bowl. I didn't get to see hardly any of the Wild West Shootout. So I'm gonna watch that on the way home, and next week.
I watched a little bit of it. And I watched the Chili Bowl was first on the list, and then I switched over and watched what I could watch left of the Wild West Shootout every night. So
here's I can throw it to you if you want to talk about that. Then we can do it that way. But one thing that I did notice, I didn't get to watch Wild West Shootout because the crowd was so big at the Chili Bowl. Wild West Shootout feature time was my dinner time. I was trying to find somewhere to eat every night. Exactly. So it was just absolutely bonkers with how many people. I know the building they can only sell so many seats, and it's sold out and it's on a waiting list. But it is unbelievable how many people are in this damn building.
Well, they showed last night, and coming down the ramp.
Yes.
There were people trying to watch the races all the way up the ramp on that side where you walk down to get to the back straight bleachers.
Man,
and they were standing there trying to watch the races from in there.
Man,
there was so many people there.
It's crazy. It's just absolutely. TV does not do this event justice. That is for sure.
No, it doesn't.
So another thing we're going to talk about, we did a Trade 'em Sliders Pick'em contest, and it was all going good till it wasn't there at the end.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah. Young Money said, "Flash, screw you," because Young Money was paying attention to our pick'ems. He didn't want you to win, Flash.
Yeah, I guess.
The Trading Sliders have tried some new ventures, kind of working on some video stuff for upcoming projects and getting some positive feedback about that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And Flash got to spend a day at the Kentuckiana Auto Racing Hall of Fame because one half of the Kurt and Emo show, Emo Bennett, Flash's dad, went into the Hall of Fame. So we're going to talk about that as well. So we're going to start off with that, Flash. I'm going to let you tell everybody how the Hall of Fame went before we get into this massive Chili Bowl coverage.
Oh, yeah. We made it up to Hall of Fame. I guess I probably had 15 people showed up there with me. I bet there was 300 people in that place at least. It's amazing how it's grown here, just in the 2 years that Rick Irwin is. Rick Irwin is the guy that takes care of almost all of this stuff, but he's got a lot of help too that helps him out with this. But yeah, I got up there and made a little speech and kind of stuttered around because I don't know. I can talk on the phone like I'm talking to you, or we can do the podcast, and I sing like I'm all right. But man, when I get in front of people, I just can't talk. It's kind of weird.
Well, here's I'm gonna give. Hold on a second. I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you a tip on that, then. So I've learned this throughout coaching and stuff. When you got to talk to a group of people, always look up. If you look down and then you look up, you start stuttering. But if you just look straight ahead, you're fine because you're not thinking about what you're gonna say because you're already looking at the people.
Yeah. I got up there and I did normal Trading Sliders way. I didn't write no notes or nothing down. I just kind of went up there and tried to wing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I figured if I had notes, I'd really screw it up. So
no cliff notes for Flash.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all, really, take tricks about it. But No, it was amazing the people that showed up, and I think almost every one of the older guys that are still able to make it out, they made it. We didn't know if John Somerville was going to make it, but I'd talked to his daughter earlier in the week and begged her to try to see if he could be there, and he ended up showing up. She actually had to get an Uber for him to make it up there, but he made it up there and got his award right at the last minute, so that worked out good. It was really cool seeing all the people and everything, and just really want to thank Rick Irwin and Marshall Jaggers helps out a lot with that, and Mike Gibson and the guys at Sportstrom, and then Clark Nichols for giving us an awesome place to do it. And I don't know if you've ever been in that place, but that place is awesome.
Yeah, it's the whole museum thing up there is
yeah.
Even where they hold the banquet at now is pretty badass.
Well, we did it where they did the banquet at. That's where we did it yesterday.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They moved it over there, and it was completely full, standing room only.
Oh, okay, so, yeah. No, yes. that place that's pretty awesome. That's one cool museum.
It was nice. But what I was gonna say too, since we do have people listening all over right now, this is Kentucky, Southern Indiana type deal here. But if you live somewhere else and you keep saying, man, we need a Hall of Fame, it's not going to happen by itself, people. So if you really want something to happen like it, try to take it upon yourself, or maybe get a group of guys together to try to do this, because there's so many people across our nation, and I mean, like other countries listening now, that need a Hall of Fame like this to remember the guys that ran and got their kids into it, and just to keep the sport going.
Yeah, we got to keep not only that, we got to keep the memory alive too, because as Kenny Wallace always says, sometimes we just got to de-bullshit them. A lot of people don't know. Yeah. There's a lot of people in this industry that don't know about previous racers, and not saying that we know everything, but there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Hell, I even seen a video where Kenny Wallace said, well, I never heard of this Jet Barnes kid. Yeah, and I said, well, Wallace, evidently you didn't watch the Tulsa Shootout then, did you? So
yeah, exactly.
Or evidently you don't pay attention to Millbridge on Wednesday nights. But yeah, that's
but no, it was really awesome what Rick Irwin's put together there, and hopefully it continues for years to come. I know Rick probably ain't gonna be able to do it forever, but hopefully somebody can fill his shoes and keep it going for everybody, even the young guys coming up now. Like I said, Brandon Taylor said when we was doing this, he said, man, hopefully someday somebody will take this over for the kids that are racing right now, and they'll be in the Hall of Fame, 20 years from now. So that's pretty cool, I thought. So
yeah, that's it's a good deal, and I remember we had Rick on the week of his Hall of Fame, last year, and he was nervous and worried how it was going to turn out, and like we told him, man, it is what it is.
He got an ovation yesterday, so
yeah,
that was good.
Well, that
he deserved it.
Yeah, well, that's a good deal. Yeah. So moving on to the Chili Bowl. Oh, actually, hold on. I did want to say one other thing. Flash, we've got our schedule made for the summer. The Cumberland Plateau Open Modified Series has put their schedule out, and we're going to do some kind of special schedule release thing in the next week or so. Yeah. So, but it is out, and I have had people ask me questions about it, and I'm just going to let everybody know it's this is not an abbreviated show, but I am coming to you again from hotel in Tulsa, Oklahoma, before I get on the road. So that is more of an in detail thing that we're going to do, and we owe it to the series to kind of do them a solid anyway. So
not just rush through it.
Yeah. So. Yep. Chili Bowl, first off, the race day reports. I've gotten great feedback about the race day reports, and I'm glad because they're not the easiest things in the world to do. Especially it's a little easier for Flash and I when we're at a racetrack because, we're there so early and there's so much stuff. We got a lot of downtime, so we can do that. When you're at the Chili Bowl and it's in the building, and, it's very confined, there's so much noise. The ones that you've seen in the building were done at like 7 a.m. because there's
because there's too much noise with tractors and
there's so much that goes into that. So that's why we kind of took it on the road. Did one in front of the driller and went and did one on Route 66. Show everybody the history of Tulsa. But yeah,
I think that's pretty cool though, man, because people get to see that you don't just have to go just to the track and stay there all day. Like if you go to the Chili Bowl, there's other things you can do around that area. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's the
Especially
roots.
if you don't get out that way very much. If you don't travel as much as we do, it's really neat for people to see some of that stuff.
Well, especially like we did like 20 miles on the Route 66 and it was the the most historic 20 miles is what they call it. But as you go through Tulsa, because Tulsa kind of, even the new businesses use the same old signs and stuff that's on Route 66 through downtown Tulsa and everything. It's really neat.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Even like I said, you got new businesses and their signs are retro, and you got all the old retro signs and retro buildings. They keep them up, and
Yeah.
it's a pretty cool deal, really. It's one of those things that if you're ever out this way, and I know a lot of people have talked about doing the Chicago to California trip.
Yeah.
And usually they quit around Missouri because there's a lot of stuff in Missouri that, well, hell, you're in Missouri.
Yeah.
But you guys need to make sure you get out to the Tulsa the Tulsa area on that part. It's a pretty neat deal. All right, Chili Bowl Flash. We did a Chili Bowl pick'em contest, and one night was a wash because both guys we picked ran a different night because of some mechanical failures. So that worked out. At least it worked out. It was the same night. So we could still do 5 out of the 6 days. And coming down to the final day, I had a 1-point lead on Flash, and I thought we were about to be sitting pretty because Emerson Axum was leading, Kyle Larson was second, and Logan Seavey was third. And going into the race, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have to earn this one, and this is gonna be fun. And then Kyle Larson went and ran into the back of CJ Leary when he broke and screwed it all up for us.
Yeah. That was a bad deal for Kyle there. I mean, but that's just stuff happens at the racetrack. A smaller racetrack, and and it's fast.
Yeah.
So you ain't got much time to think about what you're going to do, and there's so many cars around you at that point in time because he's starting. He was in the front of the pack, so there really wasn't no place he could go.
Yeah, and the visibility was a little light. It's a little hindered a little bit.
Yep.
Flash, let me explain to people because a lot of people don't know. I've had people reach out to us, and even people reached out to Tanya from back home. A lot of people don't understand how big this racetrack is, how fast these cars are going, and what kind of event this truly is. For people that's never been here, I even had one guy tell me, I can't get into these cars. And I said, and it was the night that Blake Hahn won. He was watching. I said, there's a kid that started 8th in 30 laps, drove to the front with one caution and won the race. But that's not even the story. With 3 laps to go, he was a straightaway behind the leader, and he won by a half straightaway. If you can't get into that, you're never going to get into racing.
If you can't get into him passing a guy and having 2 inches between him and 2 inches between the outside wall.
Yeah.
I mean, running 100 mile an hour. I don't know if they're running 100 in the corners. They're probably running 60. But I bet they reach 75 down the straightaway.
Yeah, it's
at least.
It's unbelievable how fast these cars are. I mean, it's
crazy.
TV does not do it justice.
No.
But the atmosphere, the event, I've seen some guys taking some heat because Kyle Larson did it a few years ago, and he said the Chili Bowl is the biggest it's the biggest race in the world.
Yeah.
And then Tony Stewart comes on this year and says he didn't have enough courage to say that when he was racing NASCAR. That tells me that Stewart was already in trouble for some other shit that he said, because he did not have a problem saying a bunch of stuff. But the Chili Bowl is
like Tony.
Yeah. The Chili Bowl is the biggest event, and it is. It's the biggest short track event, and second to the Indy 500. It is the biggest race event in the world, in my opinion. You got the Indy 500 and probably the Monaco Grand Prix, but we got to we can say. It surpassed the Daytona 500 because 2 competitors, in the Daytona 500, said that it did. So,
I think I actually shared that to our group page about Tony Stewart up there talking about that. He's talking about. He said you're not racing 40 guys when you come here. You're racing 400 people. He said, and it's people you don't never race with. He said, so it's the hardest race in the world to win. He said.
Well, here's the thing, and a lot of people don't realize this, but. Let's just look at the racers that are there. First, NASCAR. You got Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell. NASCAR owners. You had Bowman, you had Chase Briscoe, Tony Stewart's there. Kenny Wallace comes and hangs out. Kyle Busch has a car.
Kyle Busch had his car there.
Yeah, had his car there.
Which that guy impressed the hell out of me.
Oh, Gavin Michelle. Yeah, he's a Millbridge kid, Flash. He's a Wednesday night darling. He is a Millbridge kid.
Him and Boxel.
Yeah, Boxel. And Jet Barnes. Jet Barnes was a 14-year-old that Flat put it on him. Yeah. But you have all the NASCAR community. Yes, all of them had ties to dirt, except for Kyle Busch. He never had ties to dirt.
No.
But you got all the NASCAR community. You got Santino Ferrucci from the IndyCar. You know, he damn near won the Indy 500. He's there. AJ Foy is involved. I mean, there's so many guys, and then you get into the dirt aspect of it. Drake Troutman, Nick Hoffman, World of Outlaw late model competitors, Ricky Thornton Jr., last year's Lucas Oil champion, all the wing sprint car guys, non-wing guys.
Selzy.
Hot Sauce was there. I mean,
all them guys. Yeah.
It's just such an amazing event. And
it's really cool when the guys you've never heard of before that run those cars quite a bit around that area can run right there with all them guys.
Hank Davis is a star. Hank Davis he's one of the next stars in the wing sprint car world. He's had a pretty good 2 or 3 years in the wing sprint car world, and Hank Davis he's one of those guys that can absolutely get it done. But like we'll talk about. So, quick rundown through the qualifying nights. Larson won from 4th. Blake Hahn won from 8th. Emerson Axel won from the outside pole. Christopher Bell won from 8th. Logan Seavey won from 4th. That's all in the qualifier nights. And then in the main event, Larson and Axel started on the pole. They traded massive sliders back and forth. I thought we were about to have a 55-lap slide fest.
Oh, yeah. And I thought so, too.
I was like, there's no way they can keep this up. But, I mean, throughout the whole race there, Hank Davis was working from the back. Logan Seavey was a little bit too nice to Axel when Axel got chopped up on the cushion. And with him being too nice to Axel, it caused Justin Grant to have one hell of a wreck in 3 and 4.
Exactly.
But that's what happens when, especially Axel is a good kid that everybody likes. He's just a down to earth racer from right there from Central Indiana. And how cool is it? We got a local kid that we watch grow up racing. Goes on to win the biggest race of the year. So that's
pretty cool.
That's a pretty cool deal there too. But meanwhile, while all that was going on, KTJ started 18th and is working his way through the field, and Briggs Danner. So we had 2 of the top 5, former guests on our show, with Briggs Danner and KTJ. And newsflash for everybody, Emerson Axel is a guest as well. It's just not out yet. So, but there's because we do some interviews in advance.
Well, you have to sometimes in a situation like that.
Yeah. So, but we. So we'll claim 3, but we can't say we did not have CV or Hank Davis. CV is trading sliders approved. Logan CV is right now he's probably the best non-wing racer in the country. When you look at, I don't know, him and Justin Grant, they're both midget sprint cars. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter what they're in.
It don't matter what they're
Asphalt.
in. Dirt. It don't matter. But I'll tell you what's crazy, though, about the Chili Bowl. Flash, hold on a second. So we're sitting here chilling at the Chili Bowl. Tanya looks over. She's like, I'm pretty sure that's my cousin over there.
Oh, yeah.
So we look up on Facebook, do a little bit of Facebook stalking to make sure. And her cousin and his son is sitting so there's 50,000 people at this building. They are sitting in the next section from us. Like, you can throw a water bottle and hit them. So we ran into them. That was cool as hell. Haven't seen them in 13 years. Yeah. So we ran into them. the people that sit behind us, Rick and Rachel, they travel all over, and it's just so neat when you come to the building, and you make friends that you only see once a year, and you come in and you bullshit with them and talk about racing, and give each other hell a little bit, and then you go on to the next year and it happens again. But it's such a melting pot. There's so many people there that it's just man, it's an event that you just have to go to.
Oh yeah.
This week's Slider of the Week, being brought to you by Walt Speed Decals, is obviously Emerson Axel throwing a massive slider on Young Money. Gave Kyle Larson a little bit dose of his own medicine. So congratulations to Emerson Axel. And our crash of the week, we got two of them. First, we're going to talk about the crash happened at the Chili Bowl. Crash of the week by D.O. Handyman Remodeling goes to Kyle Larson. It wasn't the hardest crash. It wasn't the most nasty crash. There was plenty of them. Gavin Miller took a nasty one there. But in the same token, the Chili Bowl A main was really good, but it was on the verge of being great until Larson crashed. So, that's why that's crash of the week, just because it's, it kind of it robbed us of what really could have been. And the other D.O. Handyman Remodeling crash of the week goes to, I don't even know the guy's name. Did you see the X-Mod crash?
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna tell you there's another one if you didn't get that one.
Yeah, I
got upside down.
Yeah. It's floating around on Flow. Check it out. The Wild West Shootout. But a guy get turned in the wall on the right rear quarter, hit the wall, and rolled over upside down. And that's bad enough. But then he got hit by two or three guys full speed. One on the bottom of the car, one back on the top as it was flipping. Just absolute vicious crash.
Yeah, I was hoping I think it flipped all the way over on the wheels first, back to the wheels, and then he got hit because I was afraid he was going to be taking his belts off already. When he got hit like two more times. It was bad.
Yeah, it was a rough deal. So
yeah, that was a nasty one. I was going to mention that one if you didn't. But
that was it.
That was a bad one. Yeah.
So that's, like I said, last week we are going to give you guys a more of a detailed West Coast trip next week when we're back in studio. But we do have this week.
You want me, before you go, you want me to tell everybody what happened at the?
Yes.
I just got the winners. I was just going to mention the winners each night. That's all I was really gonna do.
Yeah.
But, and the cool thing about the Wild West Shootout, which is nobody's going to know about because the show's going to be out later tonight. But tonight they're having the lap money thing again too.
Yeah.
But, last Saturday night, RTJ won, but him and Huddy had a battle back and forth.
Now hold on, Flash. I lied. I did see that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that one.
RTJ ended up coming out on top of that one. But guys, they paid $500 a lap money. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
You want to make guys race for the lead. That's how you do it right there.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, but RTJ won that. Huddy ended up getting second, and then Sunday they raced again, and Huddy ended up winning that night, and Mike Marlar finished second, but RTJ ended up having to go back to the Chili Bowl, so he stayed at the Chili Bowl all week. I'm not sure if he's going to be there tonight or not. They were trying to get him back out there for Sunday night. So. Well,
I'll put it to you like this: when we were leaving the building at midnight last night, he was still in the building. So
okay.
I don't know if he's going to make it to Arizona or not, but at midnight he was still in the building.
He's got some buddies that's got an airplane that's been flying him back and forth. So
yeah.
he might be just taking a private jet back out there.
Okay.
And then Wednesday night, this is the main one I really want to talk about because I actually watched this whole race too. Bobby Pierce was leading. Everybody thought he was going to win. And then Ryan Gustin come flying up through there. And then all of a sudden, I think Bobby was actually racing with Huddy. And Huddy kind of tried to chop him off a little bit coming off the corner, kind of block his run. And he ended up cutting the left rear tire off. So then Pierce went back to the top, and his car was okay, but he started racing with, I think it was Ryan Gustin, maybe?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Gustin.
Yeah.
And then
Ethan Dawson said, okay, guys, you all play around. I'm gone. He went to the top side on the restart and just smoked them guys.
Yeah, trade and slider approved, Ethan Dodson.
Yeah, exactly. He ended up with like a 3-second lead by the end of the race. I mean, with like 5 to go, so he was rolling. But that was a really good race, that one was. And then Friday, it was Huddy and Pierce, and then last night it was Garrett I didn't see none of this one last night because I was watching Chili Bowl, and they said Garrett Albertson won led every lap of it. So, and Huddy ended up finishing second again. So Huddy's having a good week down there.
Yeah, well, and I know people say this all the time, and it kind of discredit
Yeah.
whoever's in the car. But
Right.
anytime you've got Rumley working on your stuff, he's actually
yeah.
their crew chief and not R&D back at home, but he's at the racetrack with you. It don't matter what driver. I'm not saying anybody can drive that car. I'm just saying it doesn't matter. That driver has the advantage for the weekend.
Exactly.
And put in said driver. It doesn't matter who it is. They have the
It doesn't
advantage.
matter. Yeah. I was just looking at this here. I just now noticed it that Huddy was in the top 3 every night except for the night that he got the tire cut down. So it's pretty good.
And he was racing for the lead that night.
Yeah, exactly. He was racing for the lead that night. So it was there's been some pretty good racing out there. That track's kind of different, man, because like when you go to throw a slider on somebody, you can't just throw it and run up to the cushion. And it seems like when you hit the cushion there, it kind of knocks all your momentum off, and the guys that are not running the cushion got enough run to get back past you every time. So
well, you got to kind of do the
throw the slider and stop in front of them.
Well, you got to, as I was going to say, you got to kind of do the short Kokomo slider because the cushion is so aggressive at Kokomo that if you bang off the cushion, you lose your momentum. But you got to like short slide up to the cushion to break their momentum. It's you know, you got to use the slider to break their momentum and not, you know, overpower them. Just a different form of racing.
Yeah, it was good though to watch. I mean, all the mod races were all good there too. Every one of them was pretty good. So it was a.
Yeah, I seen where last week's guest, Big Daddy Joe Duvall, picked up a couple heat races wins.
Yeah, he did.
So
Yep.
So before we get off here and listen to Dean Mills, we're going to do our Bandit Race Cars question of the week. And Flash, you're going to like this one, okay? Because it kind of ties you in a little bit. Yeah. In a good way, not a bad way. But Daryl out of Elizabethtown, Kentucky. It's question of the week. First off, I think everybody's going to do this now. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yeah.
But yeah, Daryl out of Elizabethtown, Kentucky said he grew up going to the Sportsdrome, Fairgrounds, and LMS, and he loves our show. And because of our show, he's fallen along with more dirt racing than he ever has. But he absolutely loves the old racetrack segment. Why don't we cover more local pavement stuff? Because when we do, it's the best coverage that we get with our deep dive segment. Can we do a local only show as well? Keep up the good work. I'll start off on this one, Flash. No, we cannot do a local only show because we are already stretched out to max capacity. Because we have some other stuff in the works right now that you guys are going to like. I hope. We've got some other segments / topics, in the works, some things going on. That's why we've been working, doing some video stuff, trying out some new equipment. What I will say to you, Daryl, is though, because guys like Kurt and I, we grew up at those racetracks. We went to those racetracks and we love those racetracks. But we also love other places. So we try our best to get out, and see everything. We're not, as Flash said before on the show, we're not one track mind.
Right.
We understand that what's going on in our circle, so to speak, especially when we race these tracks every week, what was going on in our circle wasn't the end all be all. And I learned it a little sooner than Flash, but Flash said he spent 20 years over there trying to figure that out. But we appreciate that you like our deep dive segment and our old racetrack segment. And the reason why we do this is for stuff like that. We do a long form interview with everybody. And when we pull in our old figure eight guys, that's because we're trying to play what's that? We're trying to show respect to the guys that was before us. We appreciate what they did for their sport and their genre, but our main goal is to cover everything. There's plenty of other stuff out there that covers one or two racetracks, and that's just not our goal. That's not what we do. When we set out to do this, we wanted to bring everybody in. When I say everybody in, we're trying to take people that's never been to a dirt race, and and when we talk to the figure eight guys, we know that type of racing is not for everybody, but also in the same token, we want people from the dirt world to see that side of it too.
Yeah. Well, it's just like interviewing Dean Mills. I mean, I don't know how many times he's been interviewed, but a lot of people probably don't know what all he does. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what all goes into
behind
it.
the camera.
Yeah.
And that's why we try to do a little bit of everything. We do promoters and camera guys and just drivers and
announcers.
It takes everybody. Yeah. It takes everybody to make the racetrack work.
Yeah, that's and that's and just like that. I mean, like Flash said. I mean, we've got Dean Mills on this week, and he's been bringing you. If you've seen old racing clips, especially sprint,
171 hours or 117 hours of coverage in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, and that's him standing on his feet doing that with like a 15-minute break. When you're mad that they took track prep, guess what? He's happy because that's when he gets to eat his lunch.
We'll go to the bathroom.
Yeah, but yeah, that's why when we set out to do this, we said we're not going to be just a sprint car show. We're not going to be just a late model show. We're not going to do just the old racetrack segments. We're going to do it all. And we get that. We get that certain people like certain things better. The numbers shows us what people like and don't like. But in the same token, everybody has a story. If you follow along enough, and we've had a bunch of people, I've had people reach out to me. We got people that listen to the show that stumbled on because somebody they work with raced and shared it, and they've never been to the racetrack. And they go back and listen to our show and listen to our interviews. So that's why we do it. We want to bring a light on everybody. But yes, a local only show, you're not going to get that from us. We will tie the locals in, but every week
if we ever get big enough where we can quit our jobs, we might be able to do that like on a Wednesday or something.
Yeah. That's
right now, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Because a lot of people don't know what goes into all this. It's for us not to have a production studio or anything, all this stuff is done, on the fly. And 1 week, we made show like a video blog of, us on the road, how things work.
I don't know if anybody follows your wife, but she did a pretty good job of you this week while you was out there by yourself, all the stuff you was doing. She took a bunch of pictures and put it on there, just how much stuff you do behind the scenes that people don't realize.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's just, and that's part of it. That's why we do it. But, a lot of people don't understand what totally goes into this. And we appreciate you guys hanging out with us every week. We really do. And another thing too, is when it comes to a point where, we have to do something else, and this isn't working anymore. I mean, we can change if we have to, but so far, I think we're going in the right direction. So
But also, if you want to know about your local racetracks and you live local, please go to the racetrack.
Yeah, go to the local track.
Yeah, please go to the local track and support them because they need it as much as anybody. So, if you're local, we do a lot of stuff for people that maybe can't get other places. So it's nice to just go support your local racetrack at least a few times throughout the year.
Yeah. So, all right, Flash. Well, we're going to get off here. We're going to catch Dean Mills, and then after that, we'll come back with the racetrack spotlight. And we do have some upcoming events this week. Race season is here because it never left.
Cool. I don't think it stops anymore.
No, it don't. Yeah. But all right, we're going to get off here and listen to Dean Mills. It's time for the Trading Sliders Deep Dives presented by Kentucky Clutch and Performance. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, on this week's Trading Sliders Deep Dive. We have the man that sometimes he breaks the internet with his comments, and sometimes he puts really cool shit on social media. And my favorite picture you put up every year is when you go do Ventura, and it says, my two favorite streets. Is it Dean Street and Mills Avenue or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Sean Buckley's from Ventura, and he clued me in on that. And I only go every few years just because I get a kick out of it. And the funny thing is my brother was Stephen Mills, and it's South Mills, so it says S Mills on it.
Oh, that's really cool.
So I always send a picture to my mom, and we lost my brother about 3 years ago. So it's bittersweet.
Yeah. So just leave it to me. Trading Sliders approved. Always start off on the wrong note.
No, it's all good.
But Dean Mills, the guy who is it 45 years now?
43. This is my 43rd year.
43 years have been bringing us views through the lens, so to speak. There's not many of you guys left. There's plenty of streaming stuff, but there's not many guys who did their own VHS tapes, transition into the DVD stuff, now doing all the digital stuff. When you set out to do this years ago, I know it was a passion, but was it something that you was like, you know what? I'm able to make a living out of this, or if it's something that was like, damn, I just hope people watch.
Yeah. So I started May 5th of 1984 at Placerville Speedway, my home track. My dad raced stock cars there. Was the Rookie of the Year in '81 in the Super Stock division and won one feature in his career. And we had a sponsor who was an attorney, and he was also a crew member. And he would take his deposition video camera, bring it to the races, and shoot video of my dad so he could learn. Well, after a couple of years of doing that, I kind of got interested in it, and he asked me if I wanted to try it. And the first night, for whatever reason, I was better than he was at
it. Just natural.
I've always been a student of the game, of the race itself. And I think I just developed an ability to see the best race on the racetrack and focus on that. And I was a 14-year-old kid. I never thought it would turn into any of this. You just don't know. As a 14-year-old, you don't think,
Hell, you didn't know what you was doing next week, more or less, on 40 years later.
I was just trying to get, my next bike part so I could ride my bike and with my buddies and all that. But over time I developed the ability to do it well. And I look back on my early stuff and I was awful, truly awful at this. I can say that because I look at it from a professional standpoint.
Yeah, now you're like, well, that was what I was putting out.
And I let my personal get in the middle of it, too. Like, I'd follow guys I liked and, that kind of thing. Whereas, even when I have friends that are true friends to me, Thomas Meserole, you're wearing his sweatshirt, and he'll tell you, I came up with the T-Mez.
Oh, did you?
I am the one that I'll tell you that story, if you want to hear it.
No, we're down. This is a bullshit session, man.
Yeah. I have friends, but I don't play favorites during a race. It's whoever is the best race forward. And like this week, I am the battle cam. So pretty much anything you see after the first lap that isn't the leader from the top is me. So
well, that's not the bad job to have.
I love it.
When you're trying to capture the event versus the race, the event is the action. So if you had to have one to choose, that's the one to have.
Yeah, I think there's a perception in this sport that, for people who know who I am, I'm not known by everybody, but it's a small world, and the people think that I'm, coming from a place of like, hubris. And I just know that I'm the luckiest guy to be able to do what I love for a living and have the opportunities to see most of the best races in the country. And I don't take that for granted. Like, it can all be taken away pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, just one comment here or there can, derail a few things.
It can. And so, and to ever think that you're irreplaceable is just nonsense. Like, somebody will come along and do your job. The thing you have to do in my position is try to continue to put out good work and be the best teammate you can in these productions. Be encouraging, come with a positive attitude, and outwork the man next to you. That's something I'll never let anybody outwork me on a crew.
Well, that's funny you said that, because when we started this podcast, I knew nothing about the technology side of it. I can cut a race car in two, weld it back together. I got a shop at home. I got a jigger.
I'm jealous of that.
Yeah,
I wish I had a more mechanical,
Yeah, I can do all of that. This here, it's a surprise. Now that I've been doing it almost 90 weeks, it's, I know what I'm doing to get it out now. But at first I was like, I'm just as shocked as you are when this damn thing comes out, because I'm hoping I hit all the right buttons.
Yeah. What's funny is, how you... I don't do a lot of social media. I came in early with the Jack Slash show. I don't know if you ever...
Oh, yeah. We did Jack Slash actually about a year ago, because he was actually going to come out and they had forest fires. So he was one of my only phone interviews I've ever done. Cause I've known Sean for a while, back in the old Indiana days, the original Jack Slash days before the flip the switch stuff, back when he was, doing it in Indiana.
I was on that original.
Yes.
It wasn't a podcast then. It was just a weekly show.
Yeah.
We didn't call them podcasts, so it was. Those were good times. Sean and I would just shoot the shit on racing every week, and we said some things that we were honest. We didn't try to sugarcoat things, but we didn't want to ruffle feathers either, because you get basically ousted pretty easily in this sport. And back then, when social media was not really around yet. Certainly not in the way it is now.
Yeah, no. Well, that's one thing that I've realized that when doing this, because there's so much, and we'll get into this too, but there's so much clickbait stuff, and there's so much guys that are trying to get somebody in a bad situation. And when we started doing this, I said, man, we're just going to do positive stuff. We're going to get on. We're going to bullshit about the sport. If they like it, great. If we get 5 listens, so be it.
Yeah.
It's turned out that we're getting like 20,000 a week, which is astonishing.
So I feel bad, but I don't listen to racing podcasts at all.
Well, it's because a lot of them are cookie cutter.
Yeah, I know there's some pretty popular ones, but I don't listen to them. I pretty much kind of have my ear to the ground, and I'm a race fan. I'm a glorified race fan, but my people are on that side of the fence.
Exactly.
And I get all the information from over there.
Yeah. Well, that's and I'm glad you said that, because that's one thing that we do. We try to break, peel the curtain back. I won't go on and say, hey man, you guys won't believe what Dean told me. It's not like that.
Yeah.
But I'll say, listen, we were at this event, and I think. Kind of like when the American Racer was going to the Gateway thing. I kind of knew that like 6 months in advance.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't put it out there because it wasn't my press release. It wasn't my money I was spending. So
right.
I
always got to respect somebody's. I'll ask a driver, hey, you know what you're doing next year? And they'll say, yeah, I got it all figured out. And then I say, is it something you can tell me, or do I just need to wait with everybody else? Because I don't want to know what I don't need to know.
Exactly.
Because if a guy tells you something and then he tells 2 other people and then it gets out, he's going to wonder if you're the one that actually, leaked it. And I don't want to be that guy. I'll find out when everybody else finds out. I'm just fine with that.
Well, that's the way I am, because I'm kind of on the inside on a few, especially in the late model modified world. I've got a lot of, like I knew Josh Rice was going to do his deal, and people would come up and say, "Hey, what's Rice doing?" I'm like, I don't know. And it's not really my part to tell them, But that's just, it's not how I roll. I just, I'm not oh my God, let's click this real quick. That's not me.
It is not your place to tell a lot of things.
Yeah, that's
people are just so quick to be the person to tell everybody something, and I've never understood that, because. I kind of was when I was a kid. You'd hear a rumor or something, like, "Hey, I heard this," and but don't tell anybody I told you, that kind of thing.
Why the hell did you tell me for?
But anymore, exactly. Like, if you don't want it out there, why are you telling anybody?
Exactly.
Just hang on to it until you're ready to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm totally in that, in that clique. I just don't want to know things I don't need to know yet sometimes.
Yeah, well, that's the way I am, because, if somebody tells me something, I figure, hell, it's public record. So I'm like, hey, Dean, did you hear that? Well, no, I didn't hear that. Well, then you tell, hey, Chet, did you hear that? And then Chet tells somebody, hey, Dean told me this.
Yeah.
Well, you were the third person in command, so by the time it gets there, it's all screwed up.
Right.
And it's just because the asshole didn't want me to know, and he told me. So, I get that. Especially with you travel so much. You see different parts of the country.
Very fortunate to be able to do that.
But you'll be on California one weekend, you'll be in Florida the next weekend, then you'll be on the East Coast. So you could really, if you wanted to cause a shitstorm, you really could.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the last thing I want.
Yeah,
though.
I know.
I want nothing that hurts this sport. I can't even really explain to you what it is I love about what I do. It's such an ingrained part of me anymore. But the last thing I ever want to do is draw away from the greatness that is, sprint car racing or midget racing in this case, auto racing. Yeah. To me, I see guys out there who are just, they do things that aren't in the best interest of our sport, and I hate that. And I mean, I'm occasionally unwittingly a part of that. Like I know I've learned that anything I say on social media that's negative about the sport gets blown up pretty quick because people think I'm coming from a position of authority, and I don't believe I am. I'm just a race fan with a camera. And I'm very fortunate to be where I'm at, and I'm coming from a place of humility, not hubris. And I explained that to somebody last night, and they were like, "Oh, they kind of got it." Like, "Oh, yeah. Wow." And
I never looked at it that way.
The reason I do my own social media where I'm at, what I'm doing, is because I have a terrible memory. I forget where I was last week.
Well, with traveling so much, I could see how that could be an issue.
Yeah, that's the Three Doors Down song. Can somebody please remind me where the hell we are?
Yeah, I could see where that's a major issue because, I do close to 100 races a year.
Yeah.
But I'm in a small condensed. You spend a lot of time in Indiana. I'm an hour and 20 minutes from Indianapolis, so I can do a lot of races in a short period of time. It's not drug out, but hell, I'm already on race number 10 this year.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're close to 15. So.
Well, this is 9 or 10 tonight. This is 10 because we've both done the shootout in the Chili Bowl. So, and I only count shootout as days, a race day, because there's 6 features at the end of it. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good.
There's 6 features at the end of it. So if there were only 4, I would probably say, well, we had prelims and 4. But we count every day, and we're here for 12 to 15 hours every day.
Yeah, you should count every day.
That's a lot of racing.
Yeah,
we were in the building 70 hours last week producing, and I don't know if you saw the Flow. The numbers that Flo put out with the hits and the views and
that's
the amount of live viewers, and just to be a part of that, I'm just a small cog in the wheel. I don't, like I said, I don't see myself as somebody that can't be replaced. Been very fortunate to have, I guess, earned my spot. I hate seeing it.
But you did. I don't want to be. I know, but you did earn your spot.
Sound egotistical about this because I realize there's a lot of luck involved, and there's a lot of just having done the work that gives you the opportunities. Well,
but what you saying that though, I'll spin the caveat to this because I coached high school basketball, and I've had kids. We had 123 kids go on to play college basketball from high school, and I'll just say probably 100 of those, if it wasn't for basketball, wouldn't even got the opportunity to go to college.
Yeah.
Coming from their background, and the kids, I just got lucky. Well, you got to put yourself in the right position. A lot of times you create your own luck. It's not that you just got luck. You had
There's truth.
You had to create. You had to have the ability to be in the spot to get lucky. It's not just. It wasn't like you just went and bought a lottery ticket and said, "Okay, this is what I'm doing now."
Yeah.
So
much of my career I have to thank for one guy, Greg Stevens, of Motorsport Video. Greg has passed now. But he's in the Sprint Car Hall of Fame for doing what I do. And he taught me. He picked me up out of Placerville Speedway and taught me how to be a pro. Taught me how to do the job right, like really right.
Yeah, what you need to concentrate on, what you need to show.
I mean, he didn't need to help me with my own like race craft, if you will, how to follow a race or whatever. But he did show me everything else. And Greg shot the first 25 Chili Bowls. He brought me here in '93, and this is my 25th Chili Bowl.
Well, I've got some of his old Chili Bowl DVDs.
Yeah.
The old from like 85, 86ish. I've got some of his old Chili Bowl DVDs. It's I'm a big. I have a racing library because I never even. We talk about social media. I never in a million years would have thought we'd be able to click on something called YouTube and watch any race you ever want. I bet I've got 500 VHS tapes and probably another.
Got any Mills video in there?
Yeah, I've got some Mills video. We're going to talk. I got some Mills video.
Wow.
I got some the old Jack Slash flip the switch, and I got some. So this one, Sports Plus video, the guys out of Pennsylvania. So I mean, but I've got so much.
Do you have any quality race video out west?
No, I don't think I have any of that. I've got a couple of stuff from Bakersfield.
Raceway video.
Raceway video.
So that's Jeff Christensen.
Yes.
And he's now working. He now lives in San Antonio, and he does Race On.
Okay.
He's now a full-time Race On like shooter.
Yeah. But I probably because they did a thing back in the, I guess it was late '80s, early '90s, where you could buy like every race night. I think you pay like $30 and you got
15.
Yeah,
it was $15.
Was it 15?
A night.
Okay,
that's what I charged.
Every
night.
Well, no. I mean, at the end of the year, you could. I think you bought like $30 and it had every feature.
Yeah.
So I got those for like 5 years. So I got all 12 to 15 races.
Yeah, Jeff and I met in '91, and he started doing what I did. His first race ever was at Phoenix International Raceway. And
good luck.
Way to start.
Yeah.
But I was there covering it. Just
was it the Copper
with friends.
Classic?
The Copper Classic
Okay.
is exactly
Yeah.
right. And we became friends. He would shoot with another guy that was around Northern California, and then he moved to Indiana or to Ohio and became the All-Star video guy. And while he was doing that, I moved from Placerville Speedway to Southern California to do SCRA, and I did that 9 seasons. And then I left that, and we swapped. He went from the All-Stars back to Southern California and started doing the USAC CRA series, and I took the All-Star job.
Well, you guys said, well, I've seen enough non-wing. He's like, well, I've seen enough wing. Let's just switch it up.
It just it was happenstance. But but then a year later, I was doing USAC, and I took over where Dio Laycock was. He was let go, and I took over for him, and I was there 11 seasons with USAC. So
when you were at USAC, and I don't think a lot of people actually realize this, because now USAC is they've always made a West Coast trip, so to speak, but they've always been Central United States, Central Indiana, Ohio based.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people realize now, like the non-wing racing, how big it actually is because of you and Jack Slash and Dio. I mean, everything, I call it the Jeff Gordon effect, but everybody from the West Coast wants to move to Indiana. Everybody from the East Coast wants to move to Indiana.
Yeah.
And then once they learn their craft, it's like the biggest melting pot. And then, non-wing guys, they all disperse, go back to wing racing, they learn how to race. But I think Indiana teaches everybody in our sport, not just the drivers. I mean, it teaches because there's so many opportunities there.
Yeah. An example of that is like 2008 or 9, Meserol had kind of been, he built his own car to run sprint cars, but he was a pavement midget racer from California. And he kind of made an impact and got a ride with the trucker's car. And the story about how I gave him the T-Mez name He was on his way driving, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning or something when he called me, and he goes, "Hey, dude, I got a question for you." Yeah. He goes, "I'm driving back from California to Indy. I'm driving the trucker's car this year, and I want to make some T-shirts. I want to know if I can use your name for it. Did you have your nickname for me?" I'm like, "What nickname?" And he goes, "T-Mez." I'm like, "That's your name, dude."
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
It's not a nickname.
Yeah, that's a.
And he goes, "Well, I want to use it on a T-shirt." I'm like, "Well, give me one." And I'm like, yeah, go ahead.
That's funny.
And that's how that came about.
Well, that's a. Well,
And the same thing with Jack Slash. I came up with that name.
yeah.
It was a Jack of all trades, Cordell Stewart Slash. I
Yeah.
put the two together and it became Jack Slash, and somehow he made a career
out of it. Well,
Isn't that amazing?
Well, Jack Slash, man, he. What I love about Sean is where a lot of us won't say it. Not only will he say it, he loves to say it.
Yeah. I really wish Sean had not have drifted out of the sport. He's still on the peripheral, but he's always been one of those grass is greener on the other side kind of guys.
Yeah.
And so he likes to do other things.
Yeah. Well, one thing I will say though, and I gave him credit for this last year or 2 years ago on our show when it was going to Turkey Night, and they had they did have some track issues out there on Turkey Night, and he went hard at them.
And some of that's personal.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he covered that. He covered the whole thing. Yeah. But he went really hard at them, and I thought, because he wasn't really degrading them.
Yeah.
And what like if you got shit to say, you say it the way he did. Not everybody can say it that way, but the way he did it was like, okay, we're going to listen because he's actually making a little bit of sense, and he's not F-bombing me every 5 seconds, because that's just...
I think where a lot of times we fail as a society these days is the ability to be, to take constructive criticism, and I don't think we do that well anymore. And I don't really understand it. I took some constructive criticism today, and I'm taking it to heart. Like, these people aren't wrong.
Yeah. Well, okay, we'll get into that. Well, here's the thing. You made a post on Facebook, which, first off, there's never been a really good thing come out of, hey, I posted this on Facebook, and then X amount of positive happened. So we'll start with that. You made a post, something that you believed in. Right, wrong.
It blew up.
Yeah, right, wrong, or indifferent.
Yeah.
It got on the right clicks, and that snowball starts rolling.
Well, there's the people you talk about, the clickbait.
Yeah.
People who really want to stir up controversy and all that. They got involved, and all I did was basically make fun of a guy for wearing his own T-shirt.
Yeah, and
I shouldn't. You know why? Because there is a perception. And this is people's perception. This is not how I see it. That that my opinion matters.
Yeah.
My opinion is solely my opinion.
No.
It doesn't represent anybody I work with, or, it's the Pat McAfee thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's, it's just a bunch of idiots talking
sports.
Yeah. And honestly, I try to never be negative, because every time I'm negative about anything in this sport, it comes back to haunt me. And I don't understand it, because I think I bring something to this sport with the work that I provide. It's not me. It's not some mythical persona of mine.
No connoisseur, no nothing, none of that. You're just...
I just come and do my job and do it well and try to entertain the masses out there. And I'm best at the battle cam, and I get told all the time, you follow the leader, just solely, and I'm like, I'm the battle cam generally.
I don't... Who won the damn race? You don't even know who won the damn race.
I didn't even see... I did see it peripherally, but my camera didn't... My assignment last night was Christopher Bell, who was in the midst of one of the greatest drives I've ever seen in my life. Basically, he got passed by Carter Sarf for 7th for 6th at the time. He put him in 7th with like 10 to go.
Well, one thing
he
about
drove
that,
to the front.
One thing about that is, one thing I will say, as a fan, I've always been a fan of yours, and same way with Jack Slack.
See, that makes me feel uncomfortable because, like, I don't feel like I deserve fans. I'm just a guy doing a job.
Well, let me say, I've been a fan of your work. Let me rephrase that. Okay.
That I take.
Okay, let me rephrase that.
It just makes me uncomfortable when I'm a fan of yours. People say it to me all the time. Like, I follow you on Facebook. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable because I don't do this so you're following me. I do it to remember where I was and how I did it and what happened that day. That's really it. Yeah. Because I have a terrible memory.
Well, here's the thing. I'm a fan of your work. I'm a fan of everybody who brings eyes to the sport, positive eyes, because there's enough negative shit that goes on that that's just, and that's
I
one
gotta
thing.
Remember not to put into it.
Yeah, well, not to be a part of it.
Yeah.
But from everybody, like I talked about my video collection, and for all of us, I just want to say thank you. Because there's more. Occasionally, hell, everybody says shit that they probably shouldn't, but there's more good that comes out of it than bad. Eventually, this will blow over, and somebody else they'll be on somebody else next week. It just sucks that you're the brunt of this, because the guy that does so much positive for our sport is really have to take a
I got I have thick skin. People who come at me online, they're generally cowards and won't face you. Wouldn't say the things they say to you on online.
Yeah.
And I always say, hey, come up and have a conversation. You can find me at a racetrack.
Hell, you're there all day.
I'm not looking for trouble.
Yeah.
Come up and talk to me. And if you want to punch me in the face, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But
won't be the first time I've been punched.
Well, and it won't be the last time either. Yeah. And so I've had a number of those, and it's just unfortunate because I look at what we have done this week as a collective production, and we've killed it. Like, we're killing it. And I'm grateful to be in the middle of it. Like, a cog in the wheel is all I am, and I'm grateful for that. And I don't want to draw away from that. I want it to be all positive. Like, Shootout was amazing. We did a great job as a collective company. It's not my company. It's just not, like I said, I'm just an employee, a hired contractor. And we did an amazing job and got a lot of eyes on the Shootout. And that's what this is supposed to be. And for it to even have any, like, negative around it breaks my heart. Truly breaks my heart, because I'm all about building, not tearing down. And I made a mistake by making a joke of somebody, and that was that was unfortunate. I feel bad about it, because as I found out, the Steve King Foundation is involved. I took down the post mostly because I was getting a lot of heat from people I don't know. It's one thing, like I post publicly. I don't post just to friends.
Yeah, that's the way I am.
Yeah, and because I generally don't have anything to hide.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to hide. And it just kind of blew up, and it's unfortunate. There's a lot of people that got heat over something I said that was stupid. And that's dumb.
Yeah, that's and for someone who.
And so I need to apologize for that to those people, like the people that were affected. That's just unfortunate.
No, well, and the thing is, for someone who does so good for the sport, and like I said, to take the heat that you took, it was unwarranted, unjustified, maybe a little justified because you said something you shouldn't have. But that's just, we all say something every day. We say something that we shouldn't, and you know what? It didn't go out on social media, and so your buddy calls you a dumbass, and you move on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's that's how it works.
It's Dumas.
Yeah, but let's just let people know how your days go, because I think a lot of people just, they turn on and think our streaming's killing our sport, racetracks are dying, blah, blah, blah. Our streaming is the greatest thing, but people don't actually know what goes into this. An average day, you're at the racetrack 10 to 12 hours. That's just
Well, generally not that much, but so these, so it's shootout. Yeah. We did one 16, maybe it was 15 and a half hour day. And you're on your feet the whole time. You get one or two little breaks, but we have a production meeting 8 a.m. for 9 o'clock start. And this week we're production meeting at 12. We do what they call in the business, the TV business, the facts. You're basically making sure that all the equipment works hours before the production starts. And then we're on camera at 3. So you get here early, and you're here all day, and you're on your feet most of the time. And I could sit here and complain about that, but I could be digging ditches for a living too. Yeah. And I'm very grateful for this. And like I said, my people are all over there in the pits, so I'm done with making sure my gear's ready at noon. And I go walk the pits, and I go see all my people. And with the exception of one family, the things that came against me this week, it was mostly positive. Because the people who know are over there.
Yeah.
And those are the people that I've spent my whole life around. I've been in pit areas since I was 14 years old.
Yeah, you've been traveling this road, many of sleepless nights, many of driving overnight. Now you get to fly a little bit, but there's plenty of nights where you slept in your car.
53 times last year.
Yeah, that's astonishing to think of a 14-year-old kid from old Hangtown, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Hangtown Speedway.
Yeah, the old Hangtown's making it worldwide.
Yeah.
Never would have thought that, huh?
No, I wouldn't have.
It's a crazy life that this little circle brings us.
The only reason I'm still here is because I've evolved with the sport. I just morphed into whatever it needs of me, because it isn't really about you or what you perceive you need to be. It's about helping feed the sport in a positive light. And so I went from the VHS to the mini DV years, and then DVDs rather, and then
MySpace.
Digital, and I was
MySpace talk show.
And digital video, and I was in on the ground room floor with USAC having a YouTube channel, and I put out a lot of stuff. That YouTube channel is still out there. I don't even really know.
Well, they don't go away. You can't bring them. You can't. That's one thing. When I started this, a guy told me, "Say, hey, what you put out is what you put out. So if you want to go YouTube," and I said, "Well, I don't do video." So I've been starting to do like a few little shorts and stuff, and try to bring fans in to listen to the show. But yeah, it's one of those things that once it's out there, it's out there. So which is, it's not all bad. Like I said, who would have thought? 30 years ago, a little kid that was watching Thunder every Thursday night would be able to do this, every night. I could watch it. I don't have to wait till Thursday night to get this. It's, I've recorded so much stuff, and I can go click one page and it's got the whole thing. I'm like, sometimes I still got to dig through the pile just to let me, not to be jaded.
Yeah.
Because you've been doing this so long where this sport it can humble you, and it can jade you all in the same week.
Yeah.
And I get that as a guy who.
I try to never be jaded, because if you're jaded, maybe you don't recognize true greatness when you see it, like last night.
Yeah, that was a run.
What Christopher Bell managed last night was truly incredible. I told him personally. I'm like, I walked up to him and he's signing autographs, and I was just like, Chris, I seen a lot of things, but I ain't seen much like that.
Well, and I'll tell you one thing too. The other night, Blake Hahn's run. I know he come from 8th also,
man.
but with 5 laps to go, he was a straightaway behind.
Yeah.
And Ellie, he went from a straightaway behind to a half straightaway victory in 5 laps. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I saw Blake the other day, and I just said, please take this in the way it's meant to be, the way I mean it. That was the best race I ever seen you run from, start to finish, and he was magnificent. And to see him, he's not necessarily the most aggressive guy all the time.
No, he's kind of he's kind of let the race come to him type guy.
Yeah,
which
but
isn't bad.
He took it to him.
Yeah,
and it was very satisfying to watch because Blake and I are friendly, and I'm friendly with Tommy Hahn and all the Hahns really.
So. I don't want to keep you all day because I can, because I'm good
we're
at
just
that.
shooting.
Yeah, I'm good at that. My wife will say, well, I mean, how'd you get a 2-hour interview? I said, well, it was Pat Sullivan. he did that. So
he'll tell you about who won, and
Yeah.
I happen to like Pat a lot.
I love Pat.
We've had our moments back in the day.
Well, here's the thing, though. Not really defending Pat, but what I will say is he come from a different era of broadcasting.
Yeah.
So when the newer stuff comes in, he's not a highlight video guy. He's just not. But
he's a Hall of Famer for a reason, though.
But that's what I was about ready to say. In the same token,
yes.
Talking about somebody who loves the sport.
Yes.
And you got a terrible memory. He could tell you what he had for dinner at the 1972.
Yeah, I wish I had that recall. It drives me nuts that I just can't remember what I did earlier today.
Yeah, there's not many Pat Sullivans out there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So as you touched on this a little bit, you said you're an independent contractor. So how do on the business side of it, when you said you was on the plane 53 times last year.
Yeah.
Because you work for Flow, Dirt Vision, you work for everybody. Every
mostly Flow and Dirt Vision.
Yeah, every streaming thing out there. If you got
USAC production, company, so they have their own production and they just push it out through Flow.
Flow, yeah. So when you do this, when you make your schedule, do you say it takes? I don't. You don't have to tell me, finances wise, but it takes X amount of dollars to do this, or do you, is travel included? How does that? Because there's a lot of people that
do include travel.
Because there's a lot of people want to get into this and don't really know, what goes into it.
Well, okay. First, before I get into travel, I do want to say that we are in desperate need of good videographers. We need young people who find a passion in this to do this, because us older guys, we're gonna age out.
Yeah. Well, I'm not young, but you're talking my language now.
Well, I see all those photographers down there, right?
Yeah.
Taking one image.
Yeah.
And really not getting paid a
whole lot of money
to do it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Why don't you pick up a video camera and start working on that craft and see if you can actually make a living and get to go to the places you want to go and do something good for our sport. Because still images are great, and the truly great ones,
they're elite. Yeah,
they're elite.
Yes,
they're elite for a reason. They're really good at what they do, but they're few and far between. There's more like so-so guys,
Yeah, there's more guys that are doing the 2-spin rule.
Right. And I just think that you could benefit the sport a whole lot better, because every race, it is my belief that every race should be recorded for something. It should be shown somewhere.
I made a little video clip last night. I did a little thing just on. I got this. My wife got me this new little thing to do. I do race day reports where I'll show up at the racetrack and I do a little 1 minute, 2 minute video, and I'll put it out. So I made this little video clip last night and put it out. And hell, like I said, I'm nobody. I'm definitely no videographer by any means. Well, I got 5,000 views on it and likes, and I was like, I mean, it didn't really take me a whole lot. Like, I'm not good at it by any means, but
yeah, monetizing it is kind of the key these days.
Yeah.
But I'm saying for production. Like, I believe that every race should be shot because it is a historical event.
No,
Every
I
race
agree
is
with
a
that.
historical event.
Because this could be the last time we're ever in this building. This could be the last time
You
you're
just
ever at
never
this
know.
track. Yep.
You never know what the world has in store for us. You know what? The government showed that they could shut us all down.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
All they wanted just because they came up with some reason to do it.
Yeah,
And I believe that's a dry run for something else. They just wanted to test the waters. That was, the beta version.
See if we would all join the join the line.
And half the country fell in line, and the other half said, "Go screw off."
And we always need we'll put it to you this way. I don't really do politics a whole lot because that's one thing.
I don't think that's politics. That's more social commentary.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. One thing that I have realized is they need people fighting and arguing.
Yes,
they
like
don't matter what side. No matter what side you're on. Yeah, because if everybody band together.
They'd be in trouble.
Yeah, that would be the worst case scenario for whoever's in charge.
Yeah, we all think term limits is a great idea. Why can't we band together and get that done?
Yeah.
But whatever. I don't. Yeah, let's get off of that.
Yeah, let's get off of that because we'll both be in trouble.
Yeah.
Hell, we'll both have had to make formal apologies. So. Like I was saying, for kids that's wanting to get into this, how do you do your travel? How do you do, is your pay rate negotiated or they got a flat rate?
I have a flat rate per
For
night.
Okay.
Yeah, and some companies they give you, a credit card to or book your travel and then give you a credit card for the incidentals and things like that. This life is not a glamorous life. And anybody who sees what I do ought to just like follow me around for one day and go, what the? No.
No shot.
Because it's, early mornings and long nights and no sleep, away from your family. And, I got a 13-year-old daughter who I hope is going to be at her first Chili Bowl tomorrow.
Oh, that's awesome.
She's never been. She wants to come. We've kept her out of the building because of basically. Yeah. We're afraid of the illness of getting her sick.
Yeah. Well,
she's a little susceptible. So.
Well, here's
I'm starting to get sick. It's Chili Bowl flu coming.
Yeah. Well, here's.
Oh wait, that doesn't exist.
No, it's not. Well, what my wife said, it's not the Chili Bowl flu. I'll tell you what it is.
You just get sick from all the
exhaust, the dust. Yeah, that's just. And it's one of those things. You can wear them. You can do what you can take every precaution. It does not matter when you're breathing in. It doesn't even at a local dirt track. If I leave somewhere and it was a little bit dusty that night, hell, halfway home I'm hacking and gagging.
Yeah,
that's just part of it.
I have bad sinusitis from this. I really need to go and have the Roto-Rooter thing done to my sinuses because it's bad. Yeah,
we're both in that situation. So. Before we get off here, I want to ask you, usually this is where I do my cookie cutter part. I ask everybody to thank their sponsors or whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not like you're wearing a shirt that's got 35 logos on it and you don't have to get the car owner in. But is there anybody you want to say, hey, thanks for along the way, or the companies you work for? Is there anybody you want to thank?
Well, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my mom, number one. She was the one that dragged me to the racetrack every week when I was 8 years old. And she's as big a race fan as there is. She's 80 these days, and she watches all from home. Any race I'm at, even the ones that she doesn't necessarily care for, she's watching. She is my only true fan.
Yeah.
And
she is a fan of yours.
Yeah. She's the epitome of unconditional love, my mother. And so without her, I would not be in this position. But along the way, Tom Martin got me my start. He's an attorney and still an attorney in Northern California. And then guys like Grove Hill from Quality Race Video out west used to do the NARC series way back, in the late 80s and early or all the way through the 90s and into the 2000s. And he passed away. He without him, I wouldn't be here. Greg Stevens literally taught me how to be a professional at this, and without him, I would not be here. May he rest in peace. But along the way, there have been a lot of people who have shaped my path. Guys like Jack Yaley, who invited me to come stay when I went through a divorce. Come stay at his shop and kick me out the first day.
You always got a place here, boy. Get on down the road.
Then he's like, saw all my computer equipment. He says, I can't have he let me have the couch in his shop. He goes, I can't have all this in my shop. Kicked me out, sent me down the road, and then told me, you need to go west, or go east rather. You need to go to Indiana and be USAC's video guy. And
you're like, well, how am I going to do that?
Well, yeah, because Dio was the guy.
Yeah.
And I ended up taking Dio's job after he was let go, and the rest is history. But along the way, there's been, a lot of people who have helped. Glenn Howard with SCRA, may he rest in peace. All these people are gone. Jackson, thank God.
Yeah.
Jack Yaley's like a second father to me. Yeah. And he treated me just like my real father. Not well.
That's so funny.
Yeah. But most honest guy I ever met.
Yeah.
And I love him and JJ's mom, Judy. They're like family.
Yeah.
And I'm very fortunate to have a lot of friends that around the country who help me out and wanna see me succeed. And those are the people that I most gravitate to. And I have a family I stay with in Indy, Robbie and Teddy Ott. He works for Dreyer Reinbold, Dennis Dreyer, and is a crew guy on their IndyCar team. Last year they almost won the goddamn Indy 500. They were leading, and they ran out of fuel on pit lane.
Yeah, that's
like a little homegrown Indiana team almost won.
Almost won the biggest race in the world. Go figure.
And I got some friends that have helped me through a lot of things. Todd and Celeste Hardesty, who wrapped Casey Schumann's throwback scheme tonight for his father's Lloyd K. Stevens car. They're instrumental in my life, and of course my wife and kid. And they back me on everything. Yeah. They let me.
They allow you to go. They allow you to leave every weekend.
Do what I do. Yeah. And since we're kind of wrapping it up, I just want to say that that I love this sport more than anything, and all I ever want to do is try and make it better. And I can't even tell you what it is I love about following cars in circles with a camera, but I truly still love it. Whatever the reason is, it's because of nights like last night, and seeing things like what Blake Hahn did, coming from 8th, and Bell coming from 8th.
Yeah, they both come from 8th, yeah.
Which is incredible. And
in 30 laps,
yeah,
at a place that you supposedly can't pass at. Go figure.
Right. And it's just moments like that you get to witness true greatness and be a small part of it. You're not a part of it, but you're a part of it. We're all a part of it.
Everybody in this building is a part of it.
Yeah, that's right.
And the main reason, it costs so much to come out here. So if you're investing that much time, energy, and effort and money into it, you're a part of it. And that's the reason why we go to the races. I mean, that's why we love what we do.
I love this sport, and it's every bit a part of me, and I don't know what I'd do without it. This is my 43rd year. I'm going to do 50 and step away from the camera and then cultivate my vast archive. And my goal is to do the same thing Greg Stevens did, which was hand over your archives to the Sprint Car Hall of Fame, because so much of what I have, make sure USAC has everything I did with them. You know, Outlaws pretty much cover that already. But I have stuff that before I was on, you know, payroll, I guess, that they can utilize for years to come. And that to me is what, like, that's going to be my true legacy, is all the footage that I have in my archives, getting that cultivated and accessible to the fans, and so people can watch, you know, Steve Kinser it's already out there, but maybe it really isn't. I once saw Steve Kinser flip a car in qualifying at Chico during the Gold Cup on prelim night, and they welded the thing back together. They chained the rear axle to the car to keep it from shifting back and forth. It was going around there on the right rear, sparking like crazy, and only Superman could drive that thing. And he drove it to win.
Was you there?
I have that on video.
That's awesome. Was you the one recording the time when Levi Jones left Twin Cities Raceway Park and knocked the front axle out?
Yeah.
And then it took him so long to fix the fence that he came back out and transferred in the feet. I mean, just nights like that.
I shot that.
Yeah. Okay. I thought so.
I've shot a lot of great moments in my career. I've been fortunate enough to be able to witness those things, but to be able to cover them, you know, it's truly an honor. You know, it really is an honor to be able to do what I do for a living and see the cool things that I get to see and be in the cool places I get to be in. And it's not lost on me. Like, I just really am grateful for having a small place in the sport.
Well, there it is. You heard it from the man, the myth, the legend. Don't be his fan, but be a fan of his work. We appreciate you coming on, hanging out with us. This is something we was going to do last week, and I said, let's just wait till the Chili Bowl week because, A, you got a little bit more time on your hands. Not a whole lot more time on your hands, but you got a little bit more time on your hands. So I appreciate you taking time.
Our production meeting is in 15 minutes right here.
So it worked out, huh?
Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes shit just works out.
Yeah, yes, sir.
We appreciate you coming on, and you can follow along on Facebook, Twitter, however you want, or just show up to the, as he says, show up to the racetrack and watch the race. But we appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. That was Dean Mills. Originally out of California, now lives in Dallas, Fort Worth area. But man, he's been bringing us footage, video footage, race coverage for almost 45 years. Super good dude. And as you heard in the interview, he said some things that he probably shouldn't have, and took some backlash for it. But in the same token, we've all said something that we shouldn't, a time or two, and just you shouldn't be criticized as much as he was. Over what we call some clickbait stuff. So, but yeah, Dean Mills, super cool dude. Known Dean for a while now. Just when I say known Dean for a while, it's he's so busy at the racetrack. As we come and go, hey Dean, what's up? Hey, how you doing? And then we do a little 2 or 3 minute chat and then go on. Just like a few weeks ago at the Tulsa Shootout, we sat there and talked to him, and we kind of put this deal together. Because we were actually going to do it one time last year, but the World of Outlaws got rained out, so it didn't happen then. But a lot of people don't understand, but Dean is an independent contractor, so he works for Flow, he works for Dirt Vision. He gets into that and talks about the setup and how it all works, and he is a guy that absolutely loves the sport. And as he told you, he don't really know why. Just loves cars going in circles. Loves that. He's been infatuated with it. Started at a young age at the old Hangtown at Placerville, and still going today. So says he's going to do a few more years before he calls it quits, and then start doing some archive stuff. Which he's got 45 years of everything that he's ever recorded up. So that archive video stuff is going to be a pretty neat deal. But yeah, we appreciate Dean Mills from taking time and of his busy schedule and coming on and just shooting the shit with us about all things dirt racing. This week's upcoming events, we're going to start off with our racetrack spotlight brought to you by JT Trackside Catering, and that will be Saturday coming up at Golden Isle Speedway. the SSCA Renegade Sprint Car Series, a new 410 Sprint Car Series in the Southeast, making their debut at the Bad Fast 4/10 of a mile speed plant, Golden Isle Speedway in Waynesville, Georgia. Been to Golden Isles for the Super Bowl racing back, I guess it was 15 years ago. Super nice facility. It's got all chairback seats, kind of like Talladega Super Speedway in Daytona. The original bleachers has got the metal chairs on the backs of them. You sit up on the straightaway, so you sit real close to the track, but it's up high, so it's a really good view. They have like a big press box and like 5 or 6 suites down the front stretch. Just a beautiful racetrack there in southeastern Georgia. It's a red clay. It's got a little bit of sand to it, but usually starts out super heavy and then slicks off a little bit and gets racy. The Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Car Series will be there to end Speed Weeks in March, which is crazy to say. But yeah, it's one of those places though that is sneaky good. High Limit had a race there last year. And we get a bunch of late model racing down there. But yeah, 4/10 of a mile, just tick under a half mile, but Golden Isle Speedway. They have 410 sprint cars, 360 sprint cars, 600 micro sprints, and the Ford Crown Vics. So looking forward to that. I don't know if that's on any streaming stuff. So we'll have to do some more digging on that. And then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on Dirt Vision, the World of Outlaw Late Models open up their season at Volusia Raceway Park. For the guys that's been covered in the Chili Bowl, and you've got midget racing all week. You got 3 days of late models, and late models the way they do it in the South. Super late models with the World of Outlaw Late Models. So a bunch of guys are making the trek from Arizona to Daytona as we speak. They're on the road. And also on the docket with them is the 604 Late Models, Crate Race USA Winter Shootout Series, 604 Late Models, and the 602 Late Models. And then for a lot of guys in our area, they're already, Speed Weeks is upon us. I know that's crazy to say, but the UMP Dirt Car Modified Nationals, the whole Winter Speed Week Modified Nationals, kicks off Friday and Saturday at the Henry County Speedway down in South Florida. They just had a great turnout this past weekend with the Crate Racing USA $12,000 win race. So weather is going to be nice. I think 75, 80s in the Volusia area. So if you're anywhere in the Southeast or hell, the Midwest, and you want to make a trip down, it's a good weekend to head to Florida and catch some racing. So that's all in this week's upcoming events. Like I said, Speed Weeks is here starting next week. We got all kinds of stuff going on. Bunch of IMCA stuff. Well, the Winter Nationals start out at Casa Grande. There's so much stuff going on that before you know it, you'll be at the racetrack every weekend. Unless you're like us, and we've already been to the track 10 times this year, which is crazy to think. Here in we're 15 days into the month, 20 days into the month, and we've already been to the racetrack 10 nights. So we appreciate everybody hanging out with us, and until next time, we'll be trading sliders.